I just bought an iPhone. This is the first iPhone I've ever owned.
Essentially, I'm coming from over 10 years of using an Android phone. Over the past few weeks, while getting used to this new iPhone, I've been taking a lot of notes. So I decided to make this video to document the process of switching from Android to iPhone.
I'm gonna just go out and say that I don't like the iOS keyboard. In typical Apple fashion, the keyboard is kept very, very simple, but I would have much preferred the customizability that Android keyboards offer. Since I've been on Android for so many years, all of my pictures are on Google Photos. I can install Google Photos on the iPhone, but the way that Google Photos works in combination with Apple Photos is a bit weird. For example, I don't really like that I can't turn off automatic backup of screenshots.
The camera, of course, is really good. I'm using the iPhone to record this whole video. There is one quirk though, I probably just have to get used to, is that the main camera lens is exactly where I put my hand on the back of my phone, so I find myself wiping that specific lens multiple times daily, which feels really painful with this new phone.
The migration of WhatsApp, the primary messenger app I use, was very tough. I used the official Move to iOS app for Android, but it took several grueling attempts to actually make it work. I literally had to sit next to my iPhone for a few hours while the transfer was happening to keep the screen from sleeping, because apparently that's what went wrong the first few attempts.
Interacting with friends that also have iPhones is really smooth and just so cool. I feel like I'm part of the rich people club now. This includes, but is not limited to, airdropping files and pictures, and also just simply location sharing via Find My with any number of friends.
Face ID is an absolute game changer. I was expecting to miss the fingerprint reader that I was so accustomed to, but the ease of use of Face ID is just mind-blowing.
Of course, the whole design, finish, materials, haptics of the iPhone are so much better than any Android phone I've owned. Also, the screen is amazing. It gets so bright and the speakers sound so nice too. I hate to say this, but going back to any Android phone, they just feel a tiny bit cheap compared to the iPhone.
I use the default Apple Mail app on my Macbook, but to me, a Gmail user, the iOS Apple default Mail app is unusable. This is simply because push notifications for Gmail accounts using the Apple Mail app aren't supported. So essentially receiving emails in real time just doesn't work. I've now resorted to using the official Gmail app. It works now, but of course, I would have preferred to use the default Mail app on iOS. Volume management sucks. On Android, if you change the volume, you have 3 different types of volume: ringer, notifications, and media. On iPhone, the volume buttons on the side of your iPhone by default only change media volume. There's no way to turn off the camera shutter sound. After consulting with a few friends, I've now resorted to keeping my iPhone on silent always and using focus modes, do not disturb, as an actual silent mode.
The creative workflow in combination with my MacBook is absolutely crazy. For example, I really appreciate the feature where I can control the iPhone camera with my MacBook, where I can get a real-time preview of what my iPhone camera sees on the MacBook screen. The microphone of the iPhone is really good, so I've been using it to record voiceover for videos. And of course, airdropping files in between the iPhone and the MacBook is just so easy.
Note number 11 is something I just have to get used to with iOS. Notification management compared to Android is really bizarre. Having to swipe down to get to your lock screen to see your notifications just seems unintuitive.
I did run into one pretty big issue on a specific day. If I used the iPhone for over 5 minutes at a time, it got super hot and I could literally watch the battery drain. This could be due to an incremental iOS update I did the night before, or it could also be the X app, which the battery manager showed as being the culprit. It hasn't happened since. I've also uninstalled the X app, so I'm hoping this was just a one-time thing.
iOS is definitely a more locked down operating system with many bizarre software limitations when compared to Android. The ecosystem benefits are very real though, be it interacting with friends or with other Apple devices. I'm grateful to have been able to afford this device. It seems like you do get what you pay for. This video isn't meant as an in-depth review, more so an initial thought dump on this whole switch. Thank you very much for watching, see you next time.